Hey everybody, this is Hope here, coming to you from Los Angeles. And I wanted to take a few moments to say some words about Brandon, mainly to honor him. I've been reflecting on the fact that it's been about a year, last April 2016, that him and I saw each other. So this time of year is reminding me of that visit, and that and the fact that I've just been thinking about him since he transitioned, and I've felt his energy around me a lot and just really feel his presence in my life. And I've been meaning to share this for a while. This is something that I put together after he had transitioned in August, before his funeral. It was sort of the second half of the eulogy that I was going to give, but then I decided to cut it down for the funeral. But I still have this piece that I wanted to share, again, mainly to honor him, and just to share more about him. So Brandon and I had a lot of inside jokes, and he was someone with whom we shared our own little world together. This is really dumb, but do you guys remember the My Buddy commercials from the 90s? My buddy, and me, my buddy. So Brandon and I would somehow always sing this song, and we'd be somewhere together and end up in a corner harmonizing My Buddy. We'd also stay up late watching cartoons, and one night we saw this episode of the Smurfs that had themes of social justice, and we were like, yeah, Hasbro. Just always joking around with each other. We're always laughing. You probably also know that he was very creative and musical and funny and a good writer. He had some skills. And I want to share a poem that he wrote. This is from 20 years ago. I'll actually show you. These are copies. So when he transitioned in August, I made copies of. I have a lot of his writing, and it's been really special to be able to look through it. And sad, we had a lot of struggles. We definitely didn't have a perfect relationship, but I cherish these I have the original notes, believe it or not. I'm a pretty sentimental person, so I like saving that kind of stuff. Brandon and I were really close, and he's somebody that impacted my life a lot. So this is his writing. This is a poem from Valentine's Day. I wish I would have gotten out. It's actually, he wrote it on a heart. So it's like pieces of construction paper. Don't ask me where he got it. It's like pink, purple, and it's glued on hearts of notebook paper. So he writes, "The beauty that lies in your heart is unparalleled. You are my friend, my lover, my pupil, my teacher. Loving you is so simple and comes so easily to me. I wonder what may lay ahead in our future, what will be. For now, let's enjoy our time together and share every moment and make it last forever. We've been oh so close for oh so long, and every problem we had made us oh so strong. You bring sunshine into my life every single day, and the sound of your voice makes me want to cry out and say, I love you so much, you mean so much to me, from Elvin's to Clutch to singing My Buddy. The laughs and tears, the hugs and kisses. When we are away from each other, I really miss this. I hope you know how much I love you. If I didn't have you to love, I wouldn't know what to do." Pretty sweet, right? He goes on to say in another letter, this is a quote from him. "Remember when we were just sitting in my room talking and I was playing the guitar for you? Just laughing and having a good time with you is what I cherish. And reading that reminds me of how important it is to savor the little moments in life when nothing necessarily major is happening, but we have the blessing of being in the presence of our loved ones. And he definitely got that. And he goes on to say, "Hope, we've had so many good times together. Remember that one time playing with that big old spider on my porch?" We literally had what we called our pet that lived on his mom's porch on the doorbell, this spider. He loved nature. He was truly a person of nature. And we befriended this spider. I would drop him off and we would like go see it. Like, I don't know, it was funny. He goes on to say, "Or do you remember when we played frisbee in the dark and played for like 2 hours? Or all the fun we had at Alvin's together?" It was a club in Detroit. Or just talking to each other on the phone all the time. I remember sometimes when we made plans to hang out, but we wouldn't end up hanging out till late because we couldn't get off the phone. And Brandon was a master conversationalist. His mind was incredible. I was always excited talking to him. He would come up with these ideas. I remember even when he got sick with brain cancer, and he would say, in 100 years, I bet we're gonna look back and see these treatments now as so archaic. And he was always thinking outside the box and able to just conceptualize things in a really brilliant and interesting way. So I love talking with him. And if you were around Brandon and I when we were involved with each other, you probably remember we had a pretty off and on relationship. And on several of the off periods, we each dated other people. And this next passage that I'm going to read, I think exemplifies Brandon's irresistible wit and his humor. And this comes after I had started dating somebody else that we'll just call him Sam. So Brandon writes, "Do you have more fun with Sam than you do with me? What, do you guys harmonize Kid's sister instead of my buddy? Or do you guys now watch the Snorkels instead of the Smurfs? Does he know the lyrics? Who the F is this? Paging me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawning, now I'm yawning." And then he goes on to ask several more questions and says, "If you can answer yes to all these questions, then Sam is a greater man than I. But if there are some no's in there, then you should get to know me again and put the Sam thing on hold until all the data is collected. The only way I'd date him over me is if he had a greater selection of Discovery Channel on tape. Hell, I'd even try to steal him from you if he had more Discovery on tape than I do." And that was Brandon. All of those incredible qualities rolled into one big, lovable, huggable guy. And I'm really grateful that I had the chance to see him in April of last year, 2016, when he was still himself. We had gotten in a fight about 10 years ago when he first was moving out to LA. I think he came out to visit, and we got in a fight over some gas money or something. I didn't even honestly remember it until I saw him last April. And we sit down on the table, and he puts $5 on the table. He's like, here's the gas money I owe you. From 10 years ago, and we just got such a laugh out of that. But that was Brandon. He was smart and funny and just able to poke humor in all kinds of places. He's really funny. So later on, when I dropped him off after we had seen each other in April, we embraced each other in the rental car that I had outside of his mom's house, where we had spent countless hours philosophizing when we were kids together. And it was an incredible moment. Brandon was very humble and talked about facing his mortality, and he was really happy for me. He said, I have a 3-year-old son, another one on the way. And he said, it's a gift from God, that you have a son, and that he was really happy for me, and that, it just wasn't meant to be between us. And I really felt his love and his energy, his positive energy. And it was a special gift and a special moment that we shared. I had a feeling it would be the last time that we would see each other. And I said to him, Jimi Hendrix quote. We used to listen to a lot of Hendrix together, and if I don't meet you no more in this world, then I'll meet you in the next one. Don't be late. Don't be late. And yeah, I've just been thinking about him and wanting to take a moment just to honor him, and just to say that he touched my life, and he's still very much alive and present in my heart. And his passing has really made me appreciate life, appreciate, like he mentioned, those little moments that we are gifted with in the presence of our loved ones. And I just want to give a shout out to Elaine and Damon, who I think of very often, and just let you guys know you're in my heart and in my prayers regularly. So thank you for listening, and happy spring 2017, and have a blessed day.